Welcome to the Dana Grant Show, where heart-centered stories, authentic connections, real talk, and real action come together. I'm your host, Dana Grant. I'm a life coach, speaker, and believer in the boundless power within every one of us. Each week, we're diving into raw, transformative conversations that not only spark healing, but growth and unshakable clarity. Because you know what? Your story matters. Your voice deserves to be heard, and your purpose is waiting to be fully lived. You're in the right place. Let's begin. Back to the Dana Grant Show, where I am live today in Scottsdale, well, actually Phoenix, with the amazing Coach Dar. If you don't know her, you're going to need to know her. A leading leader in leadership. I like that, leading leader in leadership. She has coached some of the most famous people in the world. She is in the house today. If you know me, you know I've had her on the show before, but live and her energy, she is magnetic. We are going to dive in today, and we're going to talk about the mental edge of leadership. We're going to talk about, and as I mentioned, she's coached the NBA, NFL, let's go more, MLB, CEOs. She's a therapist. She's all the things, and we're just going to have a heart-centered conversation today about what's needed in 2026, what she's doing, and what is required, and what's going wrong in the world today with leadership, and what we can do to shift the energy.
I'm so happy
Dar.
we could be in person.
I know. Welcome, Dar. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're here.
I know.
And yeah,
It's beautiful.
it is. And our conversation before was a little bit different. It was about leadership and where you were, but that was 2 years ago. And
Maybe 3.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
my show
2.
is
That's right.
my show,
Right.
and it's 2 years old today. We're celebrating 2 years.
Yes.
Yes, but you wrote the book, the best-selling book, The Art of Bouncing Back, and I think we talked about the book.
We did.
But we also talked about where you were in transition in life, and where you are now is quite different than where you were then. Let's talk about the evolution of someone that works with leadership, works with top people in the industry, what's required and what was required of you to show up differently.
Well, it's interesting. Prior to even writing the book, I was actually writing about patterns of greatness. And then I had gone through my 3rd stroke, and it was hard coming back from that, which is what birthed out the art of bouncing back.
Yeah.
So then I'm writing about that. And at that time, when the book came out, my father had passed. I had been traveling with the Phoenix Suns as their mental skills coach. So there was so much happening around that whole time. And then the book came out. Then I was on tour, and it shifted everything, though. So what came from hardship, adversity, ended up advancing me further.
Right.
And sometimes we forget that the struggle will strengthen us. We just have to learn how to stay open and stay agile. And I teach about emotional agility, but I had to be emotionally agile. And I started to settle into, Dana, this groundedness. And I am very much a wind energy, and I bring the energy, but it's a grounded energy. And once I grounded into surrender for me to God, and I just let him take the wheel, because people had been telling me, someone literally gave me a prophetic word that said, God wants to drop a motor in your boat. And if you let him, there will be a nation of people that will come for the wisdom. But you have to take your hands off of the oars and let him bring his strength. You can't do it in your own anymore. And think about it. That's why I think the stroke and all that stuff happened.
Yeah, let's slow down around that. No, for the people that don't know, Dar had 3 strokes at a very young age, and you had to recover from that, which was a big ordeal.
Right.
And your faith in God has always been there.
Yes.
But you were pushed to another level I saw in the last 2 years. Your evolution and your vibration and your energy has risen to, and so you're like, I'm surrendering.
I did, because I mean, it was like the lesson was in front of me, and it was, the more you surrender, the more you will flow. And I kept teaching this, and that I was still trying to hold on to the reins and figure it out. And as entrepreneurs, that's sometimes what you do. And so when you ask kind of where this expansion came from, it really was in this surrender to God, then only you. Meaning everything that happens, I want it to be so amazing in such capacity that I couldn't do it on my own strength. And guess what I get to do then? Go, but only God.
Yeah.
Only God could do this.
Well,
And that's what's
yeah.
led me to today.
Well, there's not very many people that I've had on twice. In fact, you may be it. Just because your integrity that I see, how you show up. It's not just what people say, and
No.
it's always good. And I mean, that's external, but it's my connection with you was just so grounded. And the truth was just like, she is what she is, what she is.
Yes.
And I am going to stay very close and call her in over and over again.
Yeah. And I love that you say that, because I have a saying, I think the world will heal and rise higher if people's front stage met their backstage.
Oh, let's talk about that.
I would love to.
Let's unpack that. I had other questions, but man, what you just said, and I'm seeing it all the time, and I know you are too. And we're a lot of times in the green room. We are literally in the backstage.
Right.
And metaphorically, you're talking about the backstage and the front stage and how it's not congruent.
No.
It doesn't connect.
No.
What do you think is needed? Let's unpack it.
I would love to. So we're living in an era where social media could create what looks like experts, but they're not. They've not been in the lab. They've grown followers, or they bought them, but they haven't been lab tested, meaning I have treated thousands and thousands of patients in the hospital in neuro.
Right.
I've run companies. I've then worked and took that and then did the work. I've been in private practice. My career's been 30 years, but private practice almost 20. And my point is it's kind of like if you were to go to a doctor, you want to know, how much experience do you have? Have you been through these situations to know what to do? And what happens is social media, if you're not really astute to look, it could look like they have all the knowledge, but they don't have the depth. They haven't been in
the trigger words. And I often say, and I don't want to offend anyone, I don't think at my age I'd hire a 30 or 40-year-old coach that hasn't been through what I've been through, and the knowledge and the learned knowledge.
You want them to have experience.
I want the experience.
Right.
Because I think with experience comes expansion.
Right.
And I love that you said that.
I think the other thing I want to make a note on, though, regardless of age, because I've met people that are even older than us that are
I would agree with that too. Yeah.
Speaking, but they are not who they say they are. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
There's something they're in their own work that they need to do as well.
Yeah.
But I would love to say this to everyone, whether you're on a stage or not, you're walking into work, you're walking into the community, please just do the work that you need to do. We all have to do our own work so that we could be our best versions, because that's how people do well at work. That's how corporations are better, homes are better, communities are better, because you have healthier people showing up. That's what I want in the world. And so if we have people doing the work, we'll have, since dating's a mess out there because people aren't doing the work, then people come into the office and you become leaders, and you're not the best leader. So then people are not healthy at work, which they take it to the home. So you could see, Dana, this ripples everywhere.
Absolutely.
So we need people to really own, and by the way, this not be perfect, but just, if you say it, then please practice it. Practice it so that you could stand there and sleep at night going, I did everything I could. I am not perfect by no means, but I could say that I try every day to do the best that I could. And so when I go, when I leave this earth, no one could say, Dar didn't try.
Yeah.
You know?
I didn't give it a 100%.
I'm going in on empty.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're like full on, tank full, pouring it out all. And I do see that. And I think that's why I see your evolution of emptying, rebooting, and being a student always and willing to learn more.
Curious.
Curious. Yeah.
I'm curious.
Creative and curious.
And I love, there may be people that maybe I don't align, where we're just not going to be in each other's space all the time.
Yeah.
But I want to lean in and at least know who they are, what makes them tick. And I think if we could remove the hate that people feel out there and judgment and throwing judgment around.
Or do you think it's hate, or do you think it's competition,
Both.
jealousy?
All of it.
They call it, what do they call it? Doom scrolling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love to hop on every day and give, and I do this every day, as much love as I can for 15 minutes. And then, as many posts as I can do as fast as I can. And I think it's a boomerang almost karmically. I never
Absolutely.
wish anyone karmically, because energy is energy. It's going to come back to you. But I want to put out as much as I can. And it's not going to come back maybe from that source. They may never give me
Right.
that love back,
Right.
but it's going to come back. Like the hair and makeup team today that says, hey, you know what? We're going to drive to where you are and we're going to show up and we're going to
Aw.
give you more. And we're going to, and I'm like,
How sweet is that?
yeah,
Yeah.
know what? And I always say that love and compassion and generosity are the answer with good boundaries. We all have to have our boundaries.
With good boundaries.
Because I know that my generosity without boundaries has got me into some sticky situations.
There's a book, Boundaries, for a reason.
Yep, exactly. And you know what? I not only got that book when I went to the Christian Life Coaching School and got my degree, I got a degree in that book too. And I think my biggest challenge in this life will be boundaries. And I think it's the history we come from. So let's talk about
Nurturing.
boundaries in leadership.
So I think there's a couple of things, especially depending on where you're leading. Regardless where you're leading, there's a time and a place where professional has to say professional, and then there's personal.
Right.
And sometimes in this world, it starts to get a little bit blurred. But if you don't set healthy boundaries,
Right.
it will start to blur the lines. And then when you're trying to call someone up in a professional state, but you just
Yeah.
were drunk with them at happy hour or whatever it may be, it starts to blur the lines.
Probably why I've never drank. People said last night at the party, they said, you've never drank alcohol? I'm like, never. But I never have any regrets either.
Right.
I have enough. Well, that's not true. I have enough regrets not drinking. I can't imagine adding alcohol to the mix.
Oh, it definitely. Yeah. I know how that goes. And here's the thing. You have to learn as you grow.
Yeah.
And you go through life stages. And that's why I say you'll make your mistakes, but learn from them. But boundaries are really good in the sense of, and we're all learning it, but you could overshare or overgive or try to do things. And a great leader is one that is open to learning, but also is able to handle the weight, because there is a weight to being a leader where you have to call the shots and make the call, and not everyone's going to be happy. But if you're making it for the best of the whole, then you could go to bed at night with that. And it is not easy, because I have to help a lot of leaders.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of weight on their shoulders. If it's in a corporation, you're covering everyone's payroll, everyone's life, their family's life. You carry that all the time.
Right.
If you're leading a team, you're carrying the weight of it's on you. If they win or they lose, it's still on you. So leadership is not for the faint at heart. And everyone has the chance to be a leader in their home and in their community. So the more you choose to step up, the more you have to make sure your front stage meets your backstage.
I love that, front stage, backstage. As you were saying that, I was visualizing my people pleasing era, my overgiving era, and that external wanting everyone to love me and like me. And I thought, as a great leader, as a lobbyist, I didn't care if anyone liked me, but but it was very trauma driven.
Right.
I was very focused, and I'm like, gosh, I could go back to doing that, but now I do want to be liked, but not at the risk of abandoning myself.
Right.
So how many leaders out there struggle with the people pleasing and wanting to make everyone okay with their decisions? And what do you do for the ones that are people pleasers?
Right.
And so let's put me in the hot seat. I'm a leader. I've done it all, corporation, and I'm a people pleaser, and I'm sabotaging myself a bit. How would you deal with me?
First, I would say, Dana, we're going to get back to the core of, I need you to remember who you are. Because if I could get your house centered back on rock and centered on what you know is true and your gifts and your talents,
Right.
then we could start work on what's the plan ahead that you have to lead. And I will help you navigate that plan so you could hold on to the truth of it. And there will be people that will write things or say things that don't agree with it. But
Yeah.
this isn't about you, I would say. This is actually what God's calling you to do. And if God is calling you to do it, then your thank you back is to stand firm in what he did. Because let me just say this, and again, I'm just going to share examples, whatever you believe, but if Jesus could be literally beaten for what he did and things could happen to him, do you not think it'll happen to us when we're walking our truth?
Yeah.
So you could stand firm in that. But the greatest of the greats,
Yeah.
I mean, leadership is something that you learn as you go, and it becomes a muscle, and you have to have the right people around you. Because also part of being a leader and working through that people pleasing is having a great circle around you that helps hold you when you feel like falling, or that holds you and says, don't give in to that. Don't read that message. Don't write back, Dana. We know who you are.
Yeah.
We know the real you. And by the way, your real friends will correct you if they saw something.
Right.
And if you're doing everything the
And
best of your
challenge
ability,
you and say, hey,
then
you might want to look at that.
right. But if you're doing what you need to and it's right, then
Right.
go, and don't look back in the rearview mirror too long. Please look forward in the front window.
I
It's
love
bigger.
that.
The front window is bigger than the rearview mirror for a reason. Glance at what you need to, but go straight ahead and drive to where you're being called to.
I love that. You know, over the last couple of years, I've been really challenged with a lot coming at me, just one-liners. And it's hurtful because you want people to understand your message. And I
Right.
thought, but now I ask, what do I need to know?
Right.
You know, how can I be clearer? How can I give a better message? What is needed of me?
Right.
But there was a time, and right now we've ordered. I don't know. I was in church camp and a leader in high school, and I wore this little purple bracelet that said WWJD.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it was gold. I mean, I wore it for years.
Yes.
And I've just ordered
love it.
WWJD because what would Jesus, for all of you that don't know, what would Jesus do? Because I'm going to tell you this. What would he would be cruel. He wouldn't be judgmental. He wouldn't divide. He wouldn't separate. He would be ego driven. He would be heart centered. And that's what this is what my podcast is, heart centered leadership, because this is where our expansion is. This is where our growth is. It's never going to be found in the ego.
No, never.
My boundaries are never going to be found there. I'm
Yes.
going to be in the bind and challenge continually, which let's talk about how we're drugged back there a lot. And what does it take to set the perimeters to where we can say and recognize it and say, you know, not today.
Ego.
Yeah.
When ego comes.
Yeah. When it comes in to really dominate and we're like,
Oh,
no,
Well-
I'm gonna bully my way through the
No.
Yeah. You know
Oh,
this
yeah.
one. Yeah.
ego and
Especially with
pride.
leaders. Yes. Especially with big leaders.
Ego means edging God out. EGO is edging God out. So the moment you edge God out, you've then put self into place.
I've never heard that.
Yes.
And here I've written a book about it, and I've never heard edging God out. And I'm always saying it's source, it's God, it's connection, but
That's
that is
the ego.
That is profound. Did you all hear that? Write it, pen and paper, write it down, replay, download this. Edging, ego means edging God out. And you never want to be on your own. Well, we're not on our own anyway.
No.
We're all connected. You just get to depend on how much you enjoy the struggle.
And when you let your pride and your ego, and honestly, really, Dana, it's insecurity, start to rear its head, that's when you edge God out. And by the way, again, we're human. So when you start to feel it happening, pause, take a minute and go, okay, is this me or am I letting God do this? And what can I do to get back to center? Take a deep breath, pray, meditate, and say, is this my best and highest self right now? And then when you pause and if you truly reflect and then you say, God, you come in and take the lead. He will, but you need to ask him to as well, especially when you're pride and everything is coming in the way. And then he puts people in your life, the inner circle people, to say, hey, I feel like that wasn't who you normally are. Is
Yeah.
something going on? Do you see how that's not judgmental?
Yeah.
Where you just go, hey, I see something's going on. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
It just breaks the barrier.
Well, that's a level of trust and vulnerability
Right.
that we don't
Right.
find in the ego. And I
Right.
think it was, you were talking earlier, and Brené Brown said, if you're not in the arena getting your ass kicked, I don't want to hear from you. And oftentimes we are, when we're vulnerable
Right.
and we're available and we're learning. The learning curve can be challenging. And
Oh,
I think
gosh.
this year it's extraordinarily challenging.
It's like we're always on this learning curve. And there's a great saying that in school, we study to then take the test, but in life, we go through the test to then learn the lesson.
Mm.
Think about that. Where in school, you learn the lesson to take the test, but in life, you have to go through the test to learn the lesson. So learn it and move on from it. Catch and release. That's what I tell people. Catch and release. There is nothing worth holding on to, and everything's changing. So the more you live like this, the better it'll be for you to flow.
Oh, I love
The
that.
pain will go, but the abundance will come in.
What happens to the people that are listening right now, and they are leaders, but they love to lick their wounds? They love to pull that, it's like they've got it in their back pocket for a rainy day. And I know this because I got a letter once, and it was a really dark letter. And it was after it just,
It was a tough time for
it was a
someone.
tough time to hear this letter. And I would pull it out when I wanted to have commiserate, and I wanted to be like boohoo me. I would pull it out and I would actually believe it. We don't need a letter like that, or to beat ourselves up. For the people that just wake up and they just can't release and reset, what can they do? I mean, I love that you said drop in, pray, listen to the body. Where can they find that in their body where they
Yeah.
can wash, rinse, repeat? Because I think it's a simple process. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Do you know what I would say to do? Is because sometimes when they sit, it's hard if you're stirring on it. Get a piece of paper, put a line down the middle, and put truth and false. And you look at that letter, or you take that thought and you write it out and you say, is this truth? No, it's false. So if it's false, write
Yeah.
it in this corner over here on the side of the paper, then write the truth to that statement.
What if they believe it's true? I mean, there are people that double down, and I'm like, well, that's not the truth. And they're like, oh, but, and they try to convince me it is. And I'm like, well, that's a challenge.
So if someone keeps repeating something, I'll
Yeah.
remind them, if you keep repeating this, you're focusing on it, your body's going to feel it, and you're literally putting a file that's being stored in there, and you will believe this. So it's a choice.
Yeah.
You have to choose that you want to break this pattern. So one way to break this pattern is, if you can't tell yourself something I need you to go to 3 to 5 people, and I need you to ask them, what do you see in me that I need to know? Because you need to be reminded of the truth. And that's what I would do to start to get them in motion a little bit, to hear it from the outside. And of course, at first they may go, I hear it. But you know what? Listen to it over and over, and then write it down. What did they say about you? Because here's the thing. To get out of a pattern, it's going to take work.
Yeah.
You can't just sit there and think it's going to change. Anything that is great is on the other side of hard.
Yeah.
So do the work. And if you're
And
not
there-
ready
yeah,
to do the work, then you're going to sit. And here's the thing. I want to say one more
Yeah.
thing.
No, that's it right there. Yeah.
We could sit by people, but we can't rescue everyone. So you've handed the life preserver. You're now the lighthouse. You tell them, come to the lighthouse. I've tried to save you, but if you're not ready, then you're going to have to sit in that storm a little bit more. But I've given you the tools.
Right.
Here's the light. Here's the tools, the lighthouse. Start swimming towards it. Start moving. And then you have to wait.
So the accountability.
Accountability.
Oh, I've been a rescuer. I've been a fixer. In fact, even as a coach in the decades, I've shown up and I've wanted it more than they've wanted it. And I'm like, I am stepping into fix it energy. I'm giving information, as a seer that I shouldn't be giving.
Right.
I need to be asking better questions. I had to call myself out and say, you have sabotaged. I'm back. And it was almost the bind again.
Yeah.
it was it's a slippery slope
I know.
because I want so much for people. And I see it and I'm like, oh, come on. Come on. It's like that horse. It's like, you can do it. You can do it. And it's like,
And they need
yeah,
that belief.
yeah.
But a friend of mine, when I first became a therapist, said to me, Dar, it's not your job to remove the boulder. It's just your job to teach them how to get around it. But they have to build the strength to get around it. You just guide them, but don't remove it. Because if you remove it, they will never build the strength, which is like the example of the butterfly
Yeah.
coming out of the cocoon.
Right.
If you take the butterfly out of the cocoon
Right.
while it's coming, it doesn't build the strength to fly.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that analogy. I love that so much.
Mhm.
I haven't even looked down at my questions, but I think that we've just surrounded and encompassed so much that is needed right now.
Right.
And it's not new information, but it's needed. And
It's a reminder.
yeah, yes.
Yes. Love more. Do the work on yourself.
Yeah.
Really hold that mirror. I call it watching game film. But watch your film because the pros are the best because they course correct in real time. But we course correct later. We wait to course correct. So I want
Oh,
you
I
to
love that.
correct in real time. I want you to
record-
watch film. I want you to also lean in and try not to judge. Again, you don't have to agree with certain things, but you could help people and then let them figure it out too. Everyone's on this journey doing the best that they could. And
So grace is needed.
Grace.
I always tell people you've done your very best up until this point. What you want hasn't happened yet.
That's right.
But you've done your very best.
Right.
So I always say grace and compassion are
Right.
needed for the versions of us that have shown up. And I do believe that to our capacity, we've done our very best. It may not look it to the outside world, but we were stretched to the limit, whether we, whatever information we had.
Definitely.
So I want to talk about the inner game. I put my glasses on because I wrote some questions down that I want to dive into because it's kind of the hidden psychology of high performance. And, we often celebrate the outcome, and I wrote this, but we rarely talk about what's happening internally. And we've been talking today about internally, but when you work with elite performers and you work with some of the best elite performers, people probably don't know that about you, but I do. And you shine, you elevate, and I know you deliver.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's astonishing to me to watch you full circle over and over again. And it's like you never trip up. And then you're so vulnerable and honest on the days that it's a struggle, but it's still for full circle. But in my question, it would be, what surprises you the most about high performers?
I think what surprises most people is that they still doubt themselves. Everyone thinks that they see people at the top of their game, whether that's business or sports, but the best of the best still have bad days.
So they still struggle, just like the layman.
They do.
I call it layman. Just like the people that are starting businesses or haven't achieved the high,
right?
They're still struggling.
They are human, still going through a human experience. They have to deal with family issues, life issues, pressure, situations, expectations on them that should never be placed upon someone so young, especially in pro sports. But
so
even
you're saying
in business,
it never ends. It never ends.
And by the way, the reason people will call me is because for every level you go requires another elevated version of you. There's more pressure. There's more things to deal with. Yeah. And they want that confidant by their side to say, okay, we're now here. What do we do? And how do we handle this? And it's a safe space for them to be. But I want everyone to know, by doing the work, what happens is you do become better in the bounce back because you learn the skills so you don't go as low as you might have before because you've built muscle. So you feel it, but you get back to the peak faster. That's one of the key things with those that do the work and that are really great at their mental inner game and emotional game is they take the hit, they feel it, but they know how to work through it faster. And that's what I wrote about because that's exactly what I had to do. By the
Yeah.
third stroke, I walked into the ER and I was laughing, saying to the lady as I'm staggering, I handed a note saying I was having a stroke, and she goes, "Why are you smiling?" I go, "At this point, it's my third one. I need a charger. Let's make sure someone knows where I am, and let's see if we're going up or down." I mean, it was, you're like, what are we going to do?
Were you born this way, or did you develop into this unbelievable energy of resilience?
I believe I definitely was born with extra of that in me, but I watched a mother who went through 10 heart surgeries, and she had her first triple bypass at 40, severe
dear.
heart disease till she passed, and I watched her take her last breath. And that woman was the most resilient, beautiful, loving, even in the middle of her pain. And she had really tough days, but I saw her serve more than she took, even in her toughest days. And, I think that's why I am resilient, but also once you have gone through almost losing your life, I helped people in the hospital almost lost their life.
Yeah.
I saw my family parents pass away. Dana, you start to look and go,
Yeah.
all of this, I want
Yeah.
people to have so much, as many blessings. I want them to work through the hard. But you're going to see that at the end of the day, what makes people happy is having people that see them, love them, and are there for them. And if you have that, and you work hard and you do well and save your money and grow financially too, because financial security does help, but all of it together, having the right people around you, what do? You end up wanting to
Yeah.
play with your animals, have meals around the table. And
Body,
I'm
mind, soul.
around the
Of
wealthiest
course.
people in the world, and all they want to do is sit and share a meal. It's
Yeah.
really not about the glamour. They
Oh, I
want
love
they
that.
want the simplest things.
I was just gonna say, is it that simple? Because I watch you, and what sticks in my mind with you, and what made me fall in love with you. Number one, meeting you, it was like magnetic. I
Mhm.
just knew you would be my life forever. But I watched you take a walk on the beach with your sister,
Oh, yeah.
and you were
Yeah.
on a break, and there was something there, a connection, a simplicity. No matter what you could do in the world, this is where you chose to be. You went back
Mhm.
to
My
where
mom's favorite place.
your mom's favorite place.
Mhm.
And I think wherever people, it's like, I want to go to Switzerland. I asked them, what do you think about this? This brought this up. People are like, I want expansion. I want to go to the world. I want they put it in a bucket. It's in my bucket list. I always say buckets are for like feeding horses. There's, hey, dump the bucket list out, sort it out, and start put it on a list, write it out what you want, and start taking one simple step. What do you think about that? Or do you believe that it's like,
I here's two ways is I love when people have big dreams, and I want you to dream big. So, but two things: be grateful for where you are, so you're not in
mm,
lack mentality, and excited for where God's calling you.
oh,
So be grateful for where you are while you're excited where God's calling you, so that you could have these dreams. And what happens is, here's the thing too, you could go see the world, and I do believe people should get out there because you'll see different
oh
cultures
gosh,
and you'll
yes.
learn new things, and it's so good to see other
Yeah.
perspectives. But you will always want to come back home to people you love, to home cooked meals, to being around the table and being around love. And
Yeah,
so,
my mom is gonna love this right now. Mom, this one's for you. Traveling the world and rarely being home. I was home last weekend, and I said, Mom, I'm driving. She's 83.
mm,
She runs a ranch. She's got macular degeneration. So she doesn't drive, but mine, like, is still, I mean, photographic memory. I mean,
love it.
brilliant woman, runs a ranch, all of
Amazing.
it has kept. I wanted to sit at her kitchen table, and I wanted to have a cup of coffee with her.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to just be in her presence, even after she had just read an article where I said she failed to connect emotionally. And I called her out on some things. And I said, Mom, I love you.
Right.
I know things weren't it's like,
She loved you the best she could love you.
and
She
that's
really
what I
did,
said.
at her
She-
capacity.
Yes. And she did her very best with what she was given. She didn't hear that. She said, why did you say that about me? And it broke my heart.
Mm.
And I'm like, if I could do it over again, oh
Mm-hmm.
gosh.
Mm-hmm. But you know what, Dana? You got to go sit at that table and be
Yeah.
with her now. And
For 5 hours, we sat there.
there was love, right?
We ate blueberries. We collected eggs. We didn't go in the garden because it was too hot.
You're right.
But we normally do. She drags me 100 times to the garden to look at the same peppers, the same tomatoes, and I do it because she loves it.
I
And
know.
man, she's lit up over it. She bakes. I mean, it's amazing. I don't even do what she does, and I'm
At
like
83, is that
83.
beautiful?
Oh yeah,
And I love
Yeah.
that you do it. And I would say to you and to everyone listening, if you have those moments, do
Yeah.
it, because now that my mom's gone, I wish when she was sitting there and she just wanted a hug, I hugged her more. Or there
Yeah.
are things that I wish I could have done with her. And I had to leave to go work and do things, but you will always want more time once they're gone. You just will.
Well, Dar, it was you saying that on the beach with your sister
Yes.
that made me stop being so angry
Right.
and said, where can you find the love and compassion?
Yeah.
And where can you find your way back?
Right. Right.
Regardless of what is said at you, like her da 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 da. I'm like, hey, I'll be there on Saturday. And then all of that was dropped in, and she
It's
said,
beautiful.
can you bring a flat of peaches and we can can some peaches? I'm like, absolutely.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and
I
that
love
was it. That's crazy that you made me cry. Of course you made me cry. You're going to ruin my makeup, Dar.
No, it looks good. It's waterproof.
I love you.
I love you.
This is an incredible conversation. I almost want to just break out, and my heart is so full.
I'm grateful. I'm really grateful. And I think that's what we need for more in the world, is just to know that you're seen and you're loved and you're cared about. And
Yeah.
all of the stuff
And
won't matter.
And I feel the love. And I feel, I mean, it's so expansive. I don't think I've ever cried on a podcast. And where are my tissues? But you know what? It's real and it's
Yeah.
raw. And I wouldn't change a thing.
No, and that's what makes life full. And I'll tell you this last example from the stroke, but I remember when I was in the hospital, I was watching my heartbeat go up and down, and then it started to tick down, and it was scary at that moment because I thought, oh my gosh, could I see myself flatlining? Is this it?
Yeah.
And Dana, it's a lesson, because what you're feeling is the fullness of life right now.
Yeah.
And that's what I said, if I make it through, I want to teach it, which was
expansion.
Everyone wants the up in life, but the emotion you're feeling is because the pain in life and the hardship, it's part of the depth of it. We all have to go through it. We're all going to feel pain, but then it brings us back to the peak. And so you can't just have the upbeats, you're going to have the down, but just remember there'll be a heartbeat back up, and you just had a beat back up with your mom. And so don't run from it all. Don't even run from the pain or the tears.
What's so crazy, because
Feel it all.
People are like, you never cry. And I'm like, I know. I'm going to have to do some laughter yoga where you cry, or do some courses on how to tap in there. And all I need to do is have a conversation with Coach Dar where she drops me in to my heart and where I feel
safe.
Exactly. I was going to say safe.
Yeah. And that's what I want for everyone, is to feel safe. And I think
Thank you.
I feel grateful that you would share this with me, because then I know there's love in the room. And I think that's why the people I get to work with from all over the world, of all walks of life, no one will ever know. But I get to know that while the world wants everything from them, they get to have a safe space to be. And there's nothing more meaningful than knowing you have a person that you get to just lay your head down and say, I'm sad, or I'm hurting.
Yeah.
And
I know that without us having, I'm in California, you're in Arizona, without any of that day to day, I know I could pick up the phone and call you and say, I'm in trouble emotionally, or I am hurt. And I know you would be available.
Definitely. Yes.
And I know that to be true. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being you.
The world, you are such a gift to the world.
Thank
And
you.
here I am just like crying like a little baby. And we're not cutting any of this out. So everyone that's seeing this on YouTube, all the platforms, I am literally like I didn't even know I could cry that much. It's like I thought it'd be a couple tears like pouring down my face.
I think it would have came out more if you weren't on camera too.
Yeah, with I know.
If you knew you didn't wreck your makeup, you'd let it go.
Exactly.
You gotta let the dam go. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But I got to hold it together here a little bit for y'all. So, you know what? Where can we find you? Where can people that are listening, what do you got coming up? I know how busy you are. The fact that you were available it's a miracle that we made this happen.
I've been gone for weeks. And the fact that I was in town right when you came in was unbelievable.
And that it was like I did this like it was Lionsgate. It was It was
my 2-year.
It was my 2-year anniversary, and I'm like, who do I want? And I went bing, 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 and everyone's like, wait, get your wait list. There's a ton of, and I'm like, this is it. And you were like,
thank you.
You just said yes.
Yep.
And it was that easy.
Thank you.
I always say it's a hell yes or hell no, and you just said you didn't say that, but you're like yes.
I said that. I actually said this is a heck yes.
Yeah, you said a heck yes. So yeah, she cleans me up just a little bit, but
I think it's great. And if people want to connect, I share a lot of inspiration, especially on Instagram at the Coach Dar, THE, and then Coach Dar. Obviously, my website's coachdar.com, and stay tuned. I'm putting together a network and docuseries of human stories.
Dar, I can't wait.
So it's called Why We Network, and
Why We Network.
It'll be the power of people's stories, because I want people's mental health to be better. And you could go on, and what's happening now is TV's become like the Cheesecake Factory menu. There's 1,000 options and you don't know what to eat and you're exhausted. There's 1,000 things to watch and you don't know what to watch, or you watch something and don't feel good. So when you're looking to either be inspired or connected, or you want to feel the fullness of life, we're raising capital now, but we will have a network that with beautiful contents and stories of the human spirit that will uplift you and make you laugh and help you just stay in the fight through this. So that's a lot of what I'm working on right now.
But whatever I can do to support it, whatever you can do to support it, you're going to want to be part of this.
Yes.
I mean, I'm calling everybody in, and we'll have all her links, all her information, all her website, everything will be available.
And if anyone ever needs me to come out and speak, please, it's one of my favorite things
to
do.
I was going to say,
favorite.
One of your most powerful, I would not say weapons, but boy, do you show up, is on, it was several people last night randomly. They're like, do you know, and I'm like, well, she'll be on the show tomorrow. Have you ever heard her speak? Yeah. Yeah, she delivers.
Thank you.
Well, once again,
it's my
heart. Your heart, you don't mess around.
No. Someone said hearing you speak is like getting a kick in the pants and a hug at the same time.
It does feel like that. And it feels like that. Yeah. You don't,
you're being called up and loved at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I have 9 more cards. I didn't even get to these questions that I spent at 3 o'clock this morning, rapid fire, all of it. Let's see if rapid fire, I don't even know how long we've been on. How long have we been on?
I don't even know.
Well, that's okay. Let's see. Is there anything? Okay. We're going to end it with some rapid fire questions, because I wrote these, and let's just utilize some of my cards since I got up so early, even though I get up that early anyway. Okay. Rapid fire questions. Complete the sentence. The biggest myth about success is
that getting to the top will give you everything you need.
Great leaders always
think about the whole, not self.
The hardest lesson I've ever learned
is that you will always continue to have some hardship, and that you can't fix everyone's problems. But as long as you do the best that you can, you'll make it through this.
People would experience more peace if
they believed in God.
My greatest teacher has been
Jesus. and life.
One belief I refuse to compromise on.
Is that for me, the way, the truth, and the light is Jesus, and that if I remain in him, then I could have the strength to go about every day, and that my faith is like Red Bull. It gives me wings.
Oh, I love that you just said it. You just shine through. Last question. If everybody understood one truth about themselves, it would be
That you are more capable than you could ever imagine, and that if you would just believe in the gifts that you have and sharpen your iron every day, there is nothing that you can't do that you are not equipped. That if you understand what you're equipped with and you go utilize that for good, you will have the best ride in this life, because it's going to be hard, but when you're in your flow, you could do the hard better. So stand in your truth, stand in your gifts. And if you do that, you could do the hard so much better. You will flow better. So go be who you're supposed to be, not who someone else thinks you should be. Just go be you. Go be the best version of you, utilizing your gifts.
so good.
Yeah.
Coach Dar.
Thank you.
I'm going to Coach Dar. You are just magnificent.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show today.
Honored to be here.
Whew, everyone, you're going to want to, again, download this. You're going to want to hit it on repeat. You're probably never going to see me cry on a show again. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think so. But until next time, we'll see you.